Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cam's Clubhouse. Today, we're going to be talking about the death penalty and why it should not be abolished. So now, a lot of people think that the death penalty should be abolished because it's wrong, and a big argument to why it should be abolished is that we should hold the state to the same moral standards as the citizens. So, it's like saying that if a citizen killed a murderer, then it would be murder anyways. But if the state killed a murderer through lethal injection or the electric chair, then it's not held as murder. It's just the death penalty. But then a counter argument for that would be if we're to think like that and hold the state to the same moral standards as the citizens. Obviously, a citizen cannot lock someone up in a cage in their backyard, but we have prisons. So, is the argument saying that we shouldn't have prisons either? Because that doesn't make much sense at all. Also, for the families that, so let's say someone killed your daughter. Some people think that the death penalty provides closure, some don't, but that's really not up to them to decide. It's up to the family who's dealing with that loss to decide if the death penalty would bring them closure, you know. So there's many reasons why the death penalty should not be abolished. For the worst, it's only saved for the worst of the worst. People think that when people think of the death penalty, they think of just killing a person. They don't think of all the horrible acts that they've done and the dangers of having them in a prison, like having them kill other prisoners or guards, stuff like that, and the dangers of them escaping and being let back into society. So it's only reserved for the worst of the worst. Yeah, so the death penalty should not be abolished at all. I don't understand how people can feel sympathy for these killers, these murderers, these just psychopaths, and I don't see how people can feel sympathy towards them and think that they shouldn't die. Like, the things that they did were so incredibly terrible. Like, that's the reason they're on death row. Speaking about of people on death row. There is another argument on that we should get rid of the death penalty because of the risk of executing an innocent person. So there have been innocent people on death row. There are innocent people on death row. We don't know who, but there are. There has not been an innocent person that has been executed at all. There's no facts, no evidence to prove that there's not been an innocent person who's been executed. So you can't say that. So it's not about the risk that we could end up killing an innocent person. It's that we haven't and that we probably never will. Now that we have DNA testing and all this new stuff, it's highly unlikely to execute an innocent person. So I don't think that that we should get rid of the death penalty just because of the risk of executing an innocent person when it's very unlikely that could happen. Alright, so to wrap things up, the death penalty should stay in place for the worst of the worst people. It is highly unlikely that we could end up killing an innocent person, and we should not hold the state to the same moral standards as the citizens, because that is completely illogical when you think about it and you go deeper into how I was talking about how the prisons and how a citizen could not lock someone up. So the death penalty should stay in place. It should not be removed, not for a long time or at all, because it's like I said, it's only for the worst of the worst, and those people should not still be around in society, you know? So that's my take on it, and thank you for listening.